session 5.
So it's art. It starts with art, A-R-T.
Yes, art of pitching.
Okay, I'm gonna.
I'll put the link. I'm gonna put the link in the chat. I'll put the link in the chat because what happened was what I had to do is I had to email a few people. There's about 2 people that tried to join on Zoom, but they were unable to because I think their Zoom was maybe not compatible on their computer, or so I just gave them the link to the YouTube. Let me just quickly put the YouTube link on the chat. So if there is anyone else in the room that's got friends that want to join and they were unable to register in time, they're welcome to go onto the YouTube link. There's it. It's in the chat for everyone to see. Okay, I think we're ready to start. I think Khaladi just trying to connect onto our audio. And once Khaladi from CEDA has collected the audio, then we can start. Okay.
Hi, Stilo.
Yes, coach, you're on mute.
There you go. I think I'm unmuted.
Yes, perfect.
Hello, everybody. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Super.
It's the last one, Ahmad.
Last one. Yeah,
Last one.
What a journey.
We're going to miss you guys, Khaladi.
We're gonna.
I know. We'll have more soon. We should.
Yes.
No, Skelo and I already spoke. We're gonna do a few lives. Hey, Skelo? We'll do a few
Yeah,
live.
yeah, no,
Q&As.
absolutely.
Absolutely, because we've got a lot of questions. We don't mind doing some live Q&As.
All right, we're good to go.
Okay, perfect. We're good to go. Welcome, everyone. I'd like to introduce you to Khaladi, one of the senior managers in the CEDA National Office. And it's because of CEDA that's given us the opportunity to present the business model canvas and the art of pitching. Yes, Ms. Khaladi. Yes.
Good morning, everyone. I'm very excited to be here. It has been a journey. We started with the nationals, and today, the 17th of September, we're doing the last art of pitching. I just want to thank the organizers, Mr. Ahmad, and the team. Thank you guys for always being here to assist the SMMEs and leveraging on the knowledge that you have within the industry and the years that you have practiced and have seen the business plans, have seen the whole game change to business model canvas, seeing SMMEs coming face to face with an investor. And I am aware that the information that you are giving to them is as beneficial as it can help them to propel their businesses to the next level. At CEDA, we are very excited to be part of this initiative. It used to be called Pitch and Perfect, and we would go in the provinces and meet with the SMMEs and engage, but then COVID happened. But we are glad that we could find a virtual way of presenting the art of pitching to you. Please, SMMEs, learn as much as you can. Ask questions. There is no silly question. There is no stupid question. ask questions and let us help you. You're going to be sending your business model canvas to the coaches at Tulazi group, and they will have a look at them and perfect them here and there and send them back to you. We hope you enjoy this session with us today. And we're looking forward to seeing your business model canvas, because we're going to use that information to place you for the right initiative within CEDA and the DSBD, Department of Small Business, and also for CIFA. So do put it there, your sector, what you are doing, and let's see what initiatives we can plug you in. Thank you guys. We hope today it would be robust. Ask questions in the chat section and let us help you as much as we can. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Khaladi. Appreciate that. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, fellow entrepreneurs. We also thank Khaladi and CEDA. They've been brilliant. They made it possible for us to present this to you, which we feel it's absolutely important, because the SMMEs now need to help us expand our economy. We can't rely on corporates anymore. This we need to take ownership of, and we have the ability. We need to trust ourselves, have confidence, and we can take this country forward. We can stimulate this country economically if we believe in ourselves, in our products, and in our country. So people, today, we're going to start with the art of pitching. As Khaladi says, the first two national webinars where we espoused a lot of theory. Now we're going to make it more practical. We've got Coach Skelo Mangaliso Buttalezi with us, and Azad Patel. These are highly skilled individuals, and they are our future that's going to help change our landscape. So let's get started. Before I get to what I'm actually going to show you, I just need to tell you people something. As entrepreneurs, you need to be bold. You need to be prepared to take risks, not silly risks, calculated risks. You need to be able to you must have fortitude, bravery. You need to prepare adequately, and you need probably one of the most important ingredients, self-confidence. Because if you lack self-confidence, it's going to put you on the back foot. Self-confidence and the ability to communicate effectively. Now, straight on to what you're going to be talking about. There's various types of pitching. There's the elevator pitching, the elevator pitch, which you do unexpectedly. You see somebody, a CEO, or even your own boss. You get him on the 30th floor. You meet him there. You need to pitch something to him. When the lift gets to the bottom floor, to ground floor, he's going to get out and walk away. So you need to make sure that he liked what you tried to sell him, and he's going to tell you, I'd like to hear more about that initiative later. So you need to actually get his interest. Now, that's the elevator pitch. You also get a panel pitch, where you pitch to a panel of people. Could be you want a loan. So you get the various people from the various departments, and they listen, and you'll have a panel pitch. Or you get a movie pitch, like The Apprentice and Dragon's Den. Our pitch here, we need to just teach you how to be able to pitch. It's sort of an elevator pitch, but it's a panel pitch. So it's a bit of a hybrid of the two, but it's mostly a panel pitch where you're going to have to pitch to someone and explain to them what your idea, what your concept, what your business, or what your product is. Now, we're going to start with a real example, with an example of how to pitch for funding. because most businesses we speak to, most by far the majority, over 80%, would say, I need to be able to pitch to acquire funding. So I'm going to show you an example of a pitch slide deck of how to ask for funding, what you need to put in and what you need to leave out. When you pitch, there's something, before I start, I need to get this across very emphatically. An entrepreneur, a business owner, to be successful must do adequate, thorough preparation. Now, you need to get all the information you can. Then once you've done that, you put it into a slide. And if normally a pitch, they'll give you either 3 minutes or 5 minutes. So if it's 3 minutes, you temper your pitch for that 3 minutes. They're going to give you 180 seconds, not 181 seconds, 180 seconds. Or if it's 5 minutes, 300 seconds. So you need to make sure that in this time, you get your message across. You're going to at the end say, oh, I wanted to say something. Too late. They won't listen. So what we're going to ask you now, we're going to put, this is going to be available, this template. Once you've signed on, then it will be available. You can go to the portal and you can actually get this info. If you don't sign on, you won't be able to access this. So please, we implore you, sign on. Now we're going to go through to the actual example. As you can see, it says general format for the presentation, the art of pitching. Now, what we're going to be talking, we're giving you an example of a pitch slide deck, as I said, if you're pitching for funding. Now, this is only one of the types of pitching, but we've chosen this one because you can use it in your business, in your funding request, or written normally as a business plan. And this information is what you're going to require. Now, let me just minimize the faces here. When you start on any, if you want to make a presentation, you're selling an idea, you got a car, you know, you need to ask 3 questions. And they are, what is it you want to show them? What is the message you want to get across? Why are you getting the message across? And how is your business going to work? So it starts with a concept. Now, the concept would be your product, your business, your service, the project, the cause, whatever it is. That's going to be the concept. That's the first question in the what is your concept. The next thing is going to be your problem statement, your problem. What is your problem? Why are you doing this? Why is there a need for what you're going to do, either your product or your service? Why is there a need? What is the need? What is the gap in the market? We're going to be looking at things like, am I solving a problem? If so, what problem am I solving? Am I relieving pain? If so, what pain am I relieving? Or am I giving you some gain, some value? Are you gaining value? Now that's going to all fall under the problem. Then we need to look at the size of the market. If you're in business already, we need to know, or you need to know, how much market share do you have? Do you have 1% of the market, 10%, 50%? If you've got 90% of the market, you see, you need to know what percentage you have of your target market and what is the size of your target market. Because if you're sitting on 90% of your target market, you've got no real propensity to grow any further because there's not much left in your target market. So the question, we're going to touch on that. People's going to ask us questions like, how do we know what the size of our market is. That's difficult. There is a lot of information on the internet, a lot of information, but you need to do a lot of market research. Go out there or get somebody to go out there and do that research. So those are the three aspects under the what. Then we go down to our next question we need to ask ourselves, the why. What opportunity is there in the market? Why are you doing this? What opportunity is there? What opportunity, what gap have you uncovered? You need to now explain and expand on that. From there, under the why, you need to know who are your competition. If you've got no competition, you've got monopoly, you're so lucky. That's going to be the only time, if you've got monopoly, that you can be a price setter. If you don't have monopoly, which is 99.999% of the time, you're going to be a price taker. You might say, no, I set my own price. No, you don't. The market determines the price. You set your price in line with the market. Then the next thing, now this is nice and bright yellow. This is going to be what your entire presentation is all about, the main part of it. What is your business model? How are you going to make money? How's your business going to make money? What are your revenue streams? What's your distribution channels? What's your major cost in your business? Yeah, they want real numbers. They're looking at, or not numbers, but yeah, you can't be vague. You know, we always strive for cheaper, better, faster. Now that's all under your business model. And Coach Scalo is going to explain that to us. He's going to give us the whole thing on the business plan, and Art will give us an overview at the end. Right, now we've covered the what and the why. Now we come to a section called how are we going to do it? Under how, you know, to make things a lot easier, you need to have something special. You can't just be the run-of-the-mill like everyone else. And it's a sponsor shop here. Sponsor shop. No, you need to have something special about it. You need to have like that special where you're coming up with something creative, something different. Where you're different from the others. Or is your special source, your competitive, especially when you're doing a pitch, you need to create magic. Under the how, your special sauce, you need to create magic that's going to captivate your audience, the catchers of your pitch. You need to really enthrall them, you know, with your special sauce. Then we get to the numbers. Now, what audiences, if you're pitching something, you cannot hypothesize. You can't say, if this is going to happen and if the market's going to do, no, not conditional if. Numbers, facts. What do you anticipate your cost to be? What do you anticipate your revenue to be? If you've been in business, what were your historical figures in the past? How will it change and why will it change? But actual numbers, please. I'm an ex-banker, and if someone starts fudging and talking, I would actually completely shut off and think, no ways, don't even bother going further in my mind. Then we end up with, so what? What are you going to do with this information I gave you? This should actually be your call to action. You need to tell the people, I've now made this pitch. You need to have listened. You need to have been captivated and excited by what I said. And now I'm going to either give you what you want or I'll help you get what you want. Yeah, that is the last of the how. Now we're looking at an example of a pitch deck. The first slide I'm going to show you every time will be what they expect to see from you. The second slide is going to be what it will probably look like. So it's one, what's required, and then an example of it to make it easier. So you don't have to figure out, now, what does he mean here? You'll have an example in the next slide. So it's your company's name, whatever your name of your company is, your logo, and give a compelling summary of your business here. This is your first page, really. Don't forget, you only have one chance to make a first impression. And the old cliche, first impressions last. So please, people, make this up, make it look good. Let people remember that. They'll remember your presentation because of what they saw on the first page. Advertising, free marketing, no, free advertising. The difference between advertising and marketing is people think the words are interchangeable. Marketing is what you do on a big scale. It doesn't cost you money normally. Advertising you pay for. That's the difference. Sorry, I think I just got across that. So now we're coming to what would this look like normally. This is now what we spoke about, what they will see. We've got here, Ikane ensures that the community is constantly on the move. Their views are, if it's meant to be, it's up to me. They say, we have been established to serve and add value to our community. So Ikane Engineering is an engineering workshop situated in Khayelitsha in Cape Town, which provides high quality automotive engineering solutions to the garages, because the man in the street or in the garage will take his engine out and send it here. Garages, bush mechanics. Bush mechanics are people who are not qualified, but they work on a car, they've seen how it work, and they can do it. And then the DIY, the guy fixes it in the townships of the Western Cape, Khayelitsha, Nyanga, Langa, Gugulethu, Philippi Crossroads, Mofuleni, etc. Right, the next question would be, what is your problem statement? Now, at this stage, at this juncture, I need to explain something to you. You might say, you just said a few minutes ago, I've only got 3 minutes. Now you're going on with all this information. Yes, I'm going on with all this information. You need to gather the whole 9 yards, the whole enchilada. You need to make sure that everything is there. Whatever you need, you finish gathering everything. You take out what you feel necessary. You can't under-prepare because you're only talking for 3 minutes. I keep this another umpteenth time I'm saying this now, but I'm one of the biggest proponents of systems thinking. If you do things in a systematic way, you don't forget things, you don't do things different, because what you put in, input, you process the input, processes, and then you get your output. So if you're going to put sparse input, very little, very hypothetical, very, pie in the sky, you're going to process that. And your output will be based on whatever you put in. So you need to put in comprehensive, robust information as your input, which you'll process, and you'll get a comprehensive, decent output. So the problem statement, here you give a striking overview. I spoke about it earlier, of the problem. You need to elaborate briefly how this will impact on the customer experiences. Now, this problem, you need to frame very effectively. They need to understand what the problem is, because here you're going to set the stage for the way forward. If you get their attention here, they'll be listening. If you're very vague and weak here, people's going to start, their interest will start waning after this. Now, what did I say? Our problem statement The example would be, I know it's too many words for a slide, but I'm doing it for your purposes so you can see what it is you need to take from here. So we're saying previously, there were no auto engineering workshops in the townships of the Western Cape. So when engines need repairing, the mechanics have to take the engines out and drive all the way to the outlying areas. And when they got there, the people would just say, ah, wait, I'm busy with that, and just park them in the back of the queue. Sometimes make them wait unnecessary period. So the majority of vehicles that are being driven around would be minibus taxis in townships. And these constantly need repair. And we know these vehicles has to be on the road all the time, because when it's standing, it's not making money. So it needs to be fixed as soon as possible. Now, the question would be, the next question we need to look at or think about is, what would be the ideal situation? What would be a utopia? How do we envisage solving these problems that we've identified? What big value are we going to be giving to our customers? What's our advantages of what we're offering? In this case, our services. Is there a convenience aspect? What convenience is that going to be? Here we need to be precise, unambiguous, and we need to actually get to the point. We mustn't waffle. Now, we spoke about the ideal situation. So we are saying the ideal situation would be if we can acquire additional machinery and have the money to appoint 2 additional experienced operators, which we've identified already. We can't employ them. We haven't got the money. And by getting the additional machinery with the additional staff, we can make a huge difference in our turnaround times, etc. Now, if we could do that, customers will save time. They'll get their things quicker. They'll save money because they don't have to travel all the way to take the engines to these outlying areas, and they don't have to wait long. So time is the main thing here. Time, should we say, quicker, cheaper, quicker, faster, quicker, because we get our taxis quicker back onto the road, right? The next thing we're going to look at is there real demand? We're talking about, we saw a gap in the market. The question is there any evidence that there's a real demand? Are there vociferous, loud requests, demands for our type of service? Okay. We are saying, yes, there is. So we're not asking the question in our slide when we're doing it, but this is the information we're giving, answering those questions. Because those are the questions in their minds. These are the answers. Why just put these things here so you know what's going through their minds, what they're looking for, and you are just giving them all the answers. So you've got the crib sheet. You know what the exam's all about. You know the answers. So you're just framing yours in line with that. So the request and the demands, you know, there are multitudes of minibus taxis operating around South Africa, actually, but particularly in our townships. So the taxi owners, unfortunately, they don't drive their own vehicles because some of them have more than one vehicle. They have drivers driving it. And these drivers often drive recklessly and they damage the taxi's engines. Then also, these taxi owners cannot afford these taxis to be standing. They need to be fixed and operating. And then because of all the taxis, there's a huge niche market and people want to come to us. But as I say, we can't always accommodate all of them. And you know, if the taxi break, if the engine breaks, they can't just run and buy a new one because of the high cost, expensive cost. The next thing now, this is another big one. Now we need to introduce our product or service. In our case, it's our service offering. We need to introduce it as the ultimate solution to that problem we keep on talking about. How do we do that? The company, we're telling them now, we're going to give them a thingy about our service offerings. We're going to say, we provide high quality automotive engineering solutions, like, and I just list all of that, cylinder heads to reconditioning, re-sleeving, pressure testing, whatever. All our products, I can just see it there. So we don't have to spend too much time, they can see that. Now here is the big thing. It was bright yellow when I spoke in the various things. I mentioned it earlier. I spoke about the what and the why. Under the why, we spoke about the business model, that big and bright yellow thing. Now, this is something you'll concentrate on. You'll spend a few seconds extra on this one, because your business model would address things like, what problem are you solving? What value are you creating? How's your revenue generated? What are your key activities? How will your product get to your customers? How will your business stay competitive? You don't want to be here now and later you'll actually be gone. You need to stay competitive so you can be sustainable. What are your distribution channels? What are your key resources? What are your key partners? Who are your key partners? What will your pricing structure look like? What are your major cost drivers? And how will you acquire new business? These are the questions in a business model, but you don't have a lot of time, remember? So what we did was we use a mind map, and in the middle is the business model. So we just say on top, target market, auto mechanical workshops in the surrounding areas. Key partners, all these owners, plus our suppliers of consumables, whatever we need, the consumables, the rods, whatever we need, we get it. So we have they are key partners. If we have good relationships with our key partners, we won't even need to market, because these garage owners will just want to go, garage or the mechanics just want to bring their stuff to us. We don't have to advertise. The man in the street won't need to. His garage will do that. Distribution channels. Normally, the garages just drop the engines with us. If we have a good relationship and they give us a lot of business, we'll go and collect it from them. Pricing. We always go in below market price. Whatever the market charge, and the market's normally very similar, we go in slightly below. So not only they say with petrol money, people are governed by price. We're slightly below. Our major expenses are salaries, because our people are specialized, and the rental. Our key resources as the engineering, machinery and equipment, and even our staff are our key resource. Our strong value proposition would be based, we talk of a value proposition. It's a concatenation of many different things. It's service, turnaround time, quality workmanship, pricing. We offer everything together as a package. And our key activities is our auto engineering solutions. So you talk quickly to each of your points. No waffling, you got it there, talk to it. That is why, fellow entrepreneurs, you need to practice, practice, practice. You need to work on your time. You can't just practice one, I'm ready to go. You're a brave person if you did that, because you need to know what you're going to say. You need to say the same things every time you're practicing. The moment you deviate, you're going to spend time thinking. You don't have time to think. You need to be prepared, rehearsed, and just give this all this information. But you don't but you need to work out what's important and give that. Now, we spoke about your value proposition in that thing earlier. I just put it separately. We're just saying what is our company's value proposition to our clients. So we're saying we always strive to at least meet, but we're always exceeding our customers' expectations, our problems. So this is just asking you, how are you going to meet the needs of your customers? How are you going to solve your problems in a unique way? What's so special about your proposition? What's so compelling about it? Well, our value proposition is that combination, as I said, superlative services. When our superlative service, when the client come in, they actually want to come to us because it's a nice relationship. It's a nice environment. Not like, just drop your stuff there. People actually cringe before they have to come in. No, they want to come in. They want to interact with us. High quality workmanship, because we know what we do, and give them You don't come back in a hurry because you know your work is, whatever we did, is solid, it's robust. Our pricing is competitive. You know, when we tell you you'll get it at 5 o'clock, it will be ready at 5 o'clock. And as I spoke about relationships, that all together form our value proposition. Now, just a brief history of your company. They'd like to know a bit about yourself, but yourself in your company. So now, and you're talking about what ideas led you to start? What were the frustrations you experienced? How do your numbers go up? Just a very brief history. So you can't really see that. It's a lot of information, but this is put like this for you as the person attending this to see what we are talking about, and you can take information like this. So we're saying here, there's two owners who started studying together. They did a due diligence and said, you know what? We need this very badly in our townships. So they opened in 2017. Problem is, they had very little funding. So 2018, all along, they borrowed money from their family. They had their savings, whatever they could get. So by bootstrapping, they ran their business. As they made money, a little profit, they wait and they'll buy the next piece of machinery and so forth. And the volume just grew and grew. By 2019, there was crime in the area. So they couldn't afford to stay where they were. Because it was cheaper, that's why they chose it. Now they moved to a more expensive area, but it was bigger. So it turned out it was actually a blessing in disguise. They got more people coming. It was safer. The staff, they had to work on Sundays to accommodate all of this. Now it's 2020. We need to get the machinery and the people. There's no more time for waiting. So now the audience can hear and say, that makes sense. There's logic to what you're doing. Now, the question that the audience, the catchers will think, timing, why do you want to do it now? Why didn't you do it last year? Why aren't you doing it next year? So timing is always an important thing in funding. Why now? So you must, as you explained to them earlier, we have consolidated and grown. We are now, our people are stretched. Now is the time we need to grow. This timing now, it is essential. So why is the time for action? Because we've grown overwhelmingly. And, you know, if we don't take action now, our quality of workmanship might suffer. We might not make our deadlines as our value proposition says, because we are just too busy. Then trends in the business. So we just need to tell him how our business has performed over the last few years. We said, you can see just by a graph very quickly, we operated on bootstrapping from our own money. We haven't been borrowing too much money. They call us gearing. Low gearing means you're using your own money. High gearing if you're using other people's money. 90% we're borrowing, 10% is our own money in the business, you're highly geared. Low gearing is if you're borrowing very little. So based on that, you can see 2017, we did about 850,000 Rand. In 2018, we did about 1,400. And 2019, we're about 1,900. So you can see there's a steady growth. Our business is definitely growing. Now the target market. The target market is, who are we looking at? We can't say, we're fixing the machinery for everybody in South Africa. No, we can't operate like that. We need to know what the profile looks like. We have a visual persona of our business, not a person, because here we B2B, business to business. A visual persona of our businesses, that is our clients. We need to have that clear in our heads, in our minds, what they look like, etc. Now, here's an example coming up. Our primary target market, garages in the area, especially those that fix minibus taxis. Secondary market, the bush mechanics and the DIY guys. And then the tertiary is anybody else. But we know exactly who we're aiming for. Next thing we'll be looking at is the market size. What's the potential size of the market? Very difficult to be able, people always say, how do I do that? How do I know what the size of my market is? The research people, the web, there's so much information on the internet. This is the information revolution. Everybody has something to say, puts it on the web. Go and look internationally. Don't just look locally. We call it glocal. You're operating locally, but you're operating locally, but you look local. You look all over the show, but you're operating locally. So people, please, don't say you don't have, don't guess. Do, as difficult as it is, go out, find out, look at the information and make informed calculations. Here we said stats, we found out that it's about 14,000 to be exact, and 52 minibus taxis in the Western Cape. The total available market, the TAM, is about 20,000 clients. The taxis plus the people in the areas that will probably come to us. The serviceable obtainable market, there's the SOM, is about 10,000. And now SAM, our serviceable available market, is about 15,000 customers. So we know what we're looking at. We can give them an idea. What's the competitive landscape like? We said, due to high barriers to entry, the cost of these machinery is high. You need specialist skills, specialized skills to do this. So it's not going to be easy just to get to have additional people, businesses getting into the market, because there hasn't been anyone before us, and we don't. And our real competitors are all in the outlying areas, and we know our people will prefer to come to us. Then our competitive advantages will be, as we said, excellent relationships, top quality management, etc. Now we're looking at the expected increase in revenue. You know, if we get the money, the loan, we get the money to buy the machinery and get our staff, if we're able to do that, you see, from our previous performance, we have the propensity to grow to about 2.8 million. Based on this, because we've been growing an average of about 32%. And now we've worked out, we've done calculations, what we can accommodate, etc. Based on our previous knowledge, we can actually increase by that amount. So that can prove to you. And then just quickly about our team. Now we just need to talk about the team. They want to know, who are the jockeys of this horse? The horse is the business. If the jockeys are good, they can win any race because they're good jockeys. So our company is managed by the two owners, Tabu and Tandu. They're both highly qualified, hold diplomas in mechanical engineering. They're passionate, highly competent, have a good work ethic. They work very hard, and both have good eyes for detail. Tabu's been 7 years in the industry and Tandu 5. We have a staff complement of 4 experienced staff with an aggregated total of 32 industry years. And they are extremely dedicated and loyal. That's our current here, the legend shows you. These are the current, and these are the additional people we want to get in. And then some administrative information about ourselves. And then what is it? Now here's a kick in the butt. So after all of that, what do you want? What as we want a loan for 964,000. You can see that's how we get to the money. And we want to acquire this machinery that we're showing here, and we're going to pay it back over 60 months at an interest rate of prime plus 3. So it's 7.5% plus 3, 10.5. That's what we based our calculations on. And our conclusion, we are saying here, we need to be emphatic when we conclude. We need to end off with a bang why we should get this money. So we say, if we're successful, we can increase our revenue by an extra 24%. So there'll be good growth. There'll be sustainability. We'll survive. We'll have good turnaround time, increase our turnaround time, improve that, and create additional employment under our social responsibility. And that is why you need to give us the money. Folks, now I'm going to hand over to Coach Skelo. He's going to give us a bit about the business model. Thank you very much. Azit, are you going to do the poll now?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Joseph, for that introduction.
Okay. Thank you.
We will do the poll just to understand where everyone's at in their business. It allows Coach to then also emphasize some aspects of the business model canvas. Let's start the poll. There's no right or wrong answers. I have to emphasize that point. There's no right or wrong answers. We just like to gauge where everyone's at in the room and then address those questions that are most pressing. So the first question I'm going to ask is the business model canvas. what's your experience with the business model canvas? Okay, so there's 4 options. The first one would be you've already done your own business model canvas internally in your business. The second one would be you've watched our content before, or you've been to a webinar similar to this. Third one, you've heard about the business model canvas before. And the last one is this is the first time you're going to be hearing about the business model canvas. Perfect. We got half the votes in. I'm just going to keep it on for another 30 seconds. Coach, are you able to see the poll?
Yes, Asad, I am.
Perfect. Okay, guys, we got the poll. I'm going to share the results. It seems that most people have either, so 40% of the room has not seen a business model canvas before, and the rest, the 33%, have only heard about it. So coach, that gives you an understanding of where is everyone at. So you can focus on maybe the overview. And then I'm going to ask the last question. Where are you as a business owner in your business? Are you still in idea stage? Meaning you've got the idea, but you haven't started. Yeah, and then that is straightforward. If you're 1 or 2 years trading, 3 to 5. Okay, cool. The votes are coming in. We've got 70% in. There's a few more seconds left. Okay, perfect. The majority of the votes are in. I'm going to end the poll. Coach, I'm not sure if you can see on your side.
Yes, no, I can see, Asad.
See, 41% of the audience is still in idea phase. So you're going to have to motivate them to start their business, coach. Hopefully after seeing the business model canvas, they'll be motivated. And then the 1 to 2 years is 32%. So majority are still in the very early stages. And then, yeah, so we can start on that. We will be putting out another poll later. Just a reminder, guys, we put in the attendance register in the chat. If you please can fill in the attendance register, it allows CEDA to then also allocate what type of interventions they can provide you as a business owner. So there's specific questions addressed to that. And it also helps then identify your needs. So please, if you need help filling in the form, you're welcome to write in the chat box personally to myself. Okay, thanks, Coach. If you can start then your presentation for Business Model Canvas.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. Good morning, everybody. Is it still morning? I hope you guys are doing okay. My name is Celo Mangaliswa Wabtelezi. Most of my friends call me Coach. Feel free to do the same. I hope I'm audible enough for everyone.
Perfect.
And I'll be taking you through the business model canvas. I've started sharing my screen. Let me know if you see that screen, Asad.
I will let you know now. Your screen is on. Perfect.
Fantastic. Colleagues, I like to refer to entrepreneurs as colleagues because I'm an entrepreneur myself. Colleagues, this is a wonderful time for us to really bring in some solutions. I've always believed that entrepreneurs deal with nothing but solutions. We are needed now more than ever. Solutions are needed now more than ever. Your business, your idea is so important to the economy right now, like you won't believe. Now, one of the best ways to take your idea and start testing it out and start seeing its feasibility is to use what they call the business model canvas. Those of you who have not seen it before, it's 9 key parts that look a little something like what you see on your screen right now. So you will have your customer segments, you will have your customer relationships, you'll have your value proposition, your key activities, your key partners, channels and key resources. And at the bottom there, you have your cost structure and you have your revenue streams. I want to take you through all these 9 points. I only have 30 minutes to do this, but I'll make sure that I try to keep it as compact as possible. If you have some questions, if you feel I've been moving too fast and maybe there's something you didn't understand, feel free to write something for us, a question or something on the chat box. But also visit our portal. You'll find a lot of resources there that can assist you in your journey in making sure that your business gets up and running. For those of you whose businesses are already running, this is still a very useful tool to analyze where you are in your business. And this is not something that we do just one time and then we are done with it, but you do it many different times because the business grows, the customers change, the environments change, the seasons change. So you want to keep analyzing your business. You want to keep seeing from just these 9 key parts. This is a way of summarizing even a business plan. Before you can even get to a business plan, which requires a whole lot more information, this becomes kind of a precursor to that. This becomes something that really summarizes everything into just 9 key and actionable, if I may add, parts. You need to be able to action these parts because it will help you to really see the feasibility of your own idea. All right. Now, usually people ask me, so where do I start? There's 9 key parts, but where do I start? Your customer segments is the best place to start. That place right there on the left, or on the right rather, right at the beginning, there is your customer segments. And the reason why I want you to start with your customer segments is because in the olden times, yes, you would build your product and then you'd go out and you'd find yourself customers. But nowadays, that model doesn't work so well. Nowadays, you need to make sure that there is a problem that you are solving. You need to make sure that there is a customer who is willing to buy your solution. There's too much competition. There are too many other people doing similar things to what you are doing. There'll always be competition in business. Nowadays, we don't really monopolize a lot. So you must first go and find and make sure that you have a customer. Now, the question that you would be asking yourself as you're putting together your model canvas, one of the main questions that you're asking yourself is, well, for whom am I creating value? Who is my customer really? And you need to get very, very, very specific here. This is not about generalizing. Your biggest enemy as an entrepreneur is the mentality to generalize, is the mentality to not have things pinpointed and as exact as human. I like to say to guys that I teach, I like to say to them, look, you can't phone Sanlam and Sanlam answers you. Sanlam doesn't have ears, it doesn't have a mouth. You can phone Esbonseni who works in HR at Sanlam. That's name and number, that's direct. That's knowing exactly who your customer is. And you want to start exactly there. So you need to get very specific on who your customer is. And by the way, all these 9 key parts are interlinked and connected together. At the end, I'll try to give you a quick example of how you would be pitching using a model canvas. I just prepared a little something. I didn't run it by you, Asad, and by you, Mr. Joseph, but it will add a lot of value and I'll make sure that I keep it within time. So just asking yourself, who are you solving a problem for? Think of this mentality that says gain and pain. This is not like in the gym where we say no pain, no gain, but in business, what we really mean is if your business does not, if your customer does not gain anything from your business, you're not relevant. If there isn't a pain that you are solving for a customer, you're not relevant. So you want to make sure first and foremost that there is a pain that you are answering for your customer. You want to make sure that there is a problem that you are solving for your customer. Now you want to also ask yourself as you're dealing with your customer segments, am I within a niche market or am I within a mass market? This is very important because it will also help to save you money. Businesses cost us money. These ideas to set them up, they cost us money. So you need to start making sure, do I talk to a lot of people or do I talk to a niche? Who are these people that I'm talking to? You'll see when we get to channels, you'll also be asking yourself, well, where do I find them? Because all these things are interlinked. But just for now, start analyzing. Am I talking to a mass market or am I talking to a niche market? What kind of customer segment am I dealing with? Is it a diversified kind of a market? Is it a multi-sided kind of a market? As in, do I find myself helping these people? But by helping them, I know that they also have this need, so I answer that need as well. I'll make a very good example here. I'll use the car wash a lot as I make my examples. We started some 5 companies in 2012 that we use as examples when we teach. It's our mobile classrooms. And one of them is a waterless car wash. In the car wash, we always like to, when we describe this part of multi-sided business. Now, I deal with the waterless car wash, which means I use cleaning products. Now, when I find someone and they say to me, Yes, because of COVID-19, we need sanitizers, we need cleaning material. I must be able to also, now present myself and be able to answer to that call. I'm not saying they are my primary target market, but I'm saying because I have the means to fulfill their need, I can be able to cover that. I do have a primary target market, and I focus on my primary target market because I'm saving money by focusing. So I do make sure that there is a primary target market that I'm focused in. So who is your customer segment? You must be able to ask yourself that. And please, guys, just start thinking in supply chain kind of mentality. You want to know where in the supply chain you fit in. I run a car wash. I must know where in the supply chain do I fit in. I have suppliers. I know exactly my positioning, so it doesn't cost me a lot because I understand exactly where I fit in. Now, Mr. Joseph spoke about a customer persona. You need to even Google that if you have to, but know your customer persona. There's a little exercise that you can do for yourself as well. It's just called a day in a life. Just ask yourself, what is a day in a life of my customer? Just start analyzing them. What do they do on a day-to-day basis, and really understand your customer, because it's very, very important. Now, I'll move on a little bit, and the next thing that I want us to look at is the value proposition. So I've moved right from customer segment straight to value proposition. Once I know who my customers are, I must be able to ask myself, well, what problem am I solving for them? And there, while I'm asking myself what problem am I solving for them, I must also ask myself, Mr. Joseph's called it a special source. What makes me unique? Why would they choose me? There are other people that could be answering that call. There are other people that could be alleviating their pain. But why choose my services and not somebody else's services? What is my unique selling proposition? It's a USP. We call it a unique selling proposition. What do I have to offer that somebody else does not have to offer to make sure that I stand out, to make sure that I am preferred? Just now on the chats, I saw a question that was asking about, well, what if it's not like a really innovative business? It's something like just selling vegetables. Yes, sometimes we don't start an innovative business, but we innovate the way that we do business. And it keeps people drawn back to us. It keeps our customers coming back to us. So you need to make sure, what is your uniqueness? Are you unique because of price? I hope you're unique for more than that, because somebody else can also drop their price, and then now you have a challenge and you might not meet your needs. So you must make sure that there is a strong uniqueness to your business. There's something that draws your customer to you. Is it performance? Is it design? What sets you apart from your competitors? Now, there are two ways usually in business that we look at how you approach your value proposition. You could be qualitative or you could be quantitative. Qualitative has that feel and that word quality. So think of people like Woolworths. Woolworths would be qualitative. They would say, no, because of quality, that's why we are charging this price. That's our value proposition. Quantitative has more to do with quantity. Think of people like ShopRite. ShopRite could charge you less prices, but they have to work on volume. They have to sell a lot in order to make sure that they cover. Yes, pardon me for that. So I was saying qualitative and quantitative is something that you have to determine for yourself. Wherein in your business do you focus? Do you focus more on offering a lot of quality, which means you can charge a lot of money for that quality? Or do you focus more on quantity that you are selling, which means that you can charge less, but you will work on volumes to make sure that you sell a lot? That's part of you determining your value proposition. Now, for us in the car wash, because I said I'll keep making a lot of examples with the waterless car wash, we've boiled it down to one statement, our value proposition. It's our USP. We say we are a mobile waterless car wash. Nice, simple statement. I need you to get your business to that stage where you have one nice, simple statement that summarizes exactly what it is that you do. From me just saying that statement, you already know that, oh, he's mobile, so I won't come to his car wash wherever he is. He'll come to me. He's mobile, so he comes to us to come and wash at our premises. Or he's waterless, so he won't even be using water. Now I've raised even your interest. Now you want to know even how I do this business. So just with that statement, we were inspired by people like Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs, when he started the iPod, he said one simple statement. When all his competitors were talking about algorithms or talking about a lot of jargon, he said, no, 1 million songs in your pocket. That statement is a value proposition, is a unique selling proposition. Once you start thinking, wow, I can have 1 million songs in my pocket. Of course, nowadays we use our smartphones and every other device, but back then, this was a big thing to sell, to say you can have 1 million songs in your pocket. Find that one statement that really summarizes what your value proposition is. And again, think of pain and gain. What pain am I alleviating for my customer? What does my customer gain from getting in touch with my business and accessing my products? All right, now let's quickly move on. I don't have a lot of time. I'll move on to channels. The third thing that we will talk about is channels. Where do my customers congregate? Through which channels do our customers want to be reached? You see, it's not just about you being in the channels that you like to be in. If you like to be on Facebook, good, that's good for you. But if your customers are not on Facebook, then you are aiming amiss. You want to make sure that you are where your customers are. You must follow the pattern of the customer. You must let the customer direct you and guide you. It's always said that the customer is always right. So listen to your customer. That's why we said first you must find your customer, then find a problem to solve for them, then find where you can get them. Maybe you could be doing trade shows. Maybe you could be doing adverts. But what's the point of doing a radio ad when your customers are not even on radio, when they're not listening to the radio? You need to have that mailing list if you are in that kind of business. For us in the car wash, we have a strong mailing list. Whenever we have a new product that we are launching, maybe it's a new campaign, maybe it's some special that we are offering for that month. We know that we can send to our mailing list. These are people that we've serviced before, and they now know our product and our service. Now we can send it, resell to them to try and gain them back. You understand? So you must make sure, because this helps you with your leads, you must make sure that you are very clear on the channels that your company will be using in order to get in touch with its customers. Again, all these things are interlinked and interconnected. So you must find out which ones work best for me, which channels work best for me, because it will be interlinked with your costing. It will be interlinked with how you make money. It will be interlinked with some of your key partners. You must now start narrowing down, but which one works best for me and for my business? Why do I want my business to be within this channel? Is this where my customer is? Is this where I can communicate with my customers? That's why we like to just summarize those questions that you ask yourself on the channels as, where do they congregate? Where do I find them? All right, I'm going to move it along. I'm moving on to customer relationships. Now, with customer relationships, you want to ask yourself, which type of relationship does our customer expect from us? It's not that all relationships are the same. Sometimes the relationship is just one-on-one. You come and you buy, it's a tuck shop, and then you move on. I'm a convenience store. Whenever you need me, you will come to me, I will serve you, and you will move on. Some you will need personal assistance. So some you will actually have to work very closely with the customer. On some, it will even be automated. You know, some businesses are automated where the customer can do for themselves. You just provide the platform and then they get to do what they need to do. You need to start narrowing down what kind of relationship you want with your customers. For us with the Waterless Car Wash, because we are mobile, we prefer contracts. We prefer going to the client. We prefer invoicing at the end of the month. So we will come, we'll wash, we'll have an agreement that I'll come twice in a month to wash your vehicles. Then I'll invoice you month end. We just prefer that because it's easier for us to manage the car wash. So now start determining for yourself, well, what kind of relationships do I want? What kind of relationships can I have with my customers? Is it community-based kind of relationship? Does the customer also co-create the relationship with me? Let's say maybe I'm an events organizer. The customer gets to co-create that kind of relationship. They get to determine as well what happens to them as I service them. So how do I maintain my relationships? You must be asking yourself this and putting it in on your customer relationships. Again, for those of you who are still at idea phase, I saw that according to the poll, there's a lot of you who are still at idea phase. You want to do these exercises so that you don't spend a lot of money experimenting on things that might not work for your business and for your idea. That's where the model canvas becomes of real value to you. You want to be able to see if these notions will be able, if you test them out, if they'll be able to carry your idea all the way to being profitable. Okay, let's move on now to key resources. Excuse me. You are asking yourself, well, what assets then do I need in order to deliver on the value proposition? I've already found out who my customers are. I know where to find them. I know what relationship I want with them. But what resources do I really need in order to be able to make sure that I deliver that value proposition? This is very, very important because there are many things that you could find yourself thinking that you need, especially when you're at idea phase, thinking that you need for your business, or because you're looking at your competition, or because somebody said something that you read about on social media. But it's up to you to narrow down and know exactly which ones are important to me. For instance, I run a car wash, but I need a computer. Why does it need a computer? I run a car wash, but I need a smartphone. Oh, it's because I'll have an app in the smartphone. Then I can click that disc on the car. Then I can get the information of, okay, so he's working that way. So it becomes my key resource. but you must make sure what is it exactly that I need for myself. And this doesn't have to be limited to only material things. There are many other ways of having it. Could be financial resources. It could be intellectual property in certain instances. It could be human resource. In our case, we work with guys that we call owner washers. So these guys actually, you own your little car wash, you own your little, your clients and your client base. So you are answerable for it, and you can employ other people under you. They are owner washers. They are a key resource to us. Yes, they also fit into key partners, but they are a key resource to us because we understand that it's the human relations of the thing. I can be here with you, having this session with you, having this workshop, but somebody's washing cars out there. And for me to have a strong trust relationship, I know that they are my key resource. This is their business as well. They handle it with care. I hope that makes some sense to somebody. Guys, again, if you have some questions, you can put them down on the chat. Asad is there to monitor your chats. We'll try and make sure that every question gets answered. Let's speak about key activities. And again, these things are connected. So I'll still be referring a little bit to key resources, a little bit to value proposition, because everything stems from who's my customer, what problem am I solving? If you don't have a problem you're solving, business quickly becomes irrelevant. So make sure that there's always a problem that you are solving. But now, what key activities do I need to do in order to make sure I deliver on my value proposition? I'm sure you'll agree with me that it's important to be on social media because things have progressed nowadays. Everything is on social media. But you must be very careful about how you manage your time. What is your core business? What are your key activities? So that you don't just spend time now loitering in the streets of Facebook, in the streets of Instagram, just because it's nice to be there making comments and throwing on likes. You want to be there for a purpose. You want to do what you need to do because it's linked to your core business. Here, you can start to even save yourself time and be efficient with your time. Here, you can now start to narrow down and say, yeah, yes, we would like to do that as well, but we are a car wash at the end of the day. That is our core function. We must stick to our ethos in order to make sure that we grow what we started. We may detour a little bit here and there, like I was saying, but you want to come back and say, but what are our key activities in the first place? Which activities are most important to us and are key functions of this business? We must be able to prioritize, guys. Business is nothing but a game of time, a game of prioritizing. You must have proper timing. Again, think of supply chain. Where do I fit within certain supply chain? Where do I cut in and offer my value? What are my activities that set me apart? What are my activities that really deliver me as a unique player within the business sphere? You know, where do I find my resources? You must be able to ask yourself, where do I find resources? Because that will be linked to my key activities. It's not your activity to be out there the whole day trying to go and buy, but you must know where you find the resources that you get to quickly get that done. You come back to your core function. You come back to your key business. How long does it take me as well to do other things? How long does it take me to do my business? Again, I'll make the example with the car wash. If I didn't know how much each guy is supposed to take in washing one car, we'd be in trouble. So now I know our key activities. I know how long we should take in washing one car. It's now linked to my cost structure. It's now linked to my value proposition. I can make a promise to a customer. I can say to a customer, because some of our customers are office blocks, I can say to them, yeah, you guys will go inside your office. In 30 minutes, your car will be ready when you come out. Because I know the key activity. I know how long it takes to do it. I know what we do to get that car washed. I know exactly the time that it will take to get that car washed. I prioritize. I know what the expertise I need. I know what the skills are required. Again, that's part of my key activities. Start narrowing down for your business what expertise are needed, what skills are needed in order to make sure that our activities are strong. What technical developments could I maybe need because technology has been so advanced so that I'm also competitive in the space? That's part of my activities. All right, I'm going to move on to key partnerships. Who are your key partners? Who are your key suppliers? And again, this is not limited to only human beings, to individuals. It could be another business. No, this business is my key partner. For instance, my suppliers who supply with cleaning products, they test their products, they are certified for their products, they are eco-friendly. People call their cars their babies. You don't want to scratch somebody's baby. You want to make sure you use top-notch stuff. I'm willing to pay and make sure that I get the right products in my hands so that I deliver on a promise to a customer. Make sure that you have the strongest key partners, but know what they are bringing to the table. It is not just about partnering with my friend because he's my friend. because it's easier to talk to. I partnered with my uncle because he was around. He's not working, you know, he doesn't have a job. So hey, I decided let's become partners in business. No, it doesn't work that way. There must be something that they are bringing to the table. What expertise, what skills, how can they help us deliver on the value proposition? That's how you pick out your key partners. And you have to be very clear, even when you are presenting this, because you must remember, this is about the art of pitching. When you are pitching this, your investor wants to know that you selected your partners very carefully. You didn't just partner with somebody because they were available at the time. It's not just anybody that we start, you know, partnering with. We must make sure that they help us to successfully deliver on the value proposition. Okay. All right, I'm going to move on from there. I'm still going to link all these things because I want to give you a quick example before we close. Now, one of the parts that take us a bit of time to really cover, but I want to just take a crack at it very quickly, is your cost structure and your revenue streams. I'm kind of going to speak about them at the same time, if you understand what I mean. This is simply because income minus expenses equals to your profit and your loss. They always have a relationship, those things. You want to make sure your expenses are a little less and are not more than your income, so that you make sure that you make a profit. Okay? For your cost structure, you need to be asking yourself, what are the most important costs within my business? Now, you can dissect that into two different ways because your investor would most likely want to know that for when you are pitching. At least know what your fixed costs are and know what your variable costs are. Fixed costs are those ones that are the same, no matter how many cabs we made this month, no matter how many cars I washed this month, rent stays the same. Those are my fixed costs, those are my overheads. Now, your variable ones are more linked to your cost of sales. They are more linked to, well, the cleaning products that I buy, the material that I buy 10 to clean 10 cars, just as an example. If I'm cleaning 6 cars, I'll buy 6. So those ones are variable. And be very careful of your variable expenses, guys, especially for those of you who are still within idea phase, because those amounts keep changing. Know your averages. You'll be amazed at how many businesses have struggled because of things like telephone, data, things like that, because you spend on that as and when you need. You need it for production. You need it, so you spend on it as and when, but it's not as easy to budget petrol. It's not as easy to budget for it. So know your averages when it comes to your costs. You want to, when you are in front of your investor, you want to be able to say, well, our overheads are around this much and our variable costs, our cost of sales are around this much. At least give them that information because it allows them to really realize, okay, from the income that you say you're going to make, and these are your main major expenses, we see that you will be profitable. I hope that makes sense to someone. Again, Asad will be including some stuff on the portal to help and assist you with the financials. You don't have to be a finance guru, but in order to pitch, don't be afraid of numbers. Don't be afraid of maths. I don't know what is it with us. We are afraid of maths. Don't be afraid of numbers. You'd rather even employ someone to be the one that counts your money. No, 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 no. You count your money. You must now make sure that you at least understand what goes on within your financials. What is not measured does not grow. So you must do the measuring of your business. And the best way to measure what's happening within your business is to make sure that you keep your records, is to make sure that you know your costs and you know your revenues. Now, with your revenue streams, there are many different revenue streams and directions that you can take. For us, we use contracts, like I said. It doesn't mean we close out people who have like 10 cars and more somewhere, special events and things like that. Yes, we do, but mostly we rely on contracts. Maybe for you, it's subscriptions. Maybe for you, you are using what is termed premium, which means it's for free for a while. You know how like Zoom itself, it's free until a certain point when you want more services, then you start to pay for it. So you must determine what type of income do you want and what are your customers really are willing to spend on you for. You see, when we've washed your car, we put in an air freshener. My customers are not buying the air freshener. It's not as primary to them. I know what they are willing to pay for, but I know what I can add on. I know that this now affects my cost because I must buy air fresheners in order to make sure that the car stays fresher for longer. It keeps them coming back to me. It's like a value add. So you must now start understanding how your costs are related to your revenues as well. How are your customers really interested in you if they don't know how you are charging and how you are making your money? So you need to be very clear on how you will be making money for yourself, okay? How do revenue streams also contribute to the overall bigger picture of your company? You may have more than one revenue stream. For instance, yes, we wash cars, but we also train entrepreneurs who want to wash cars. Like I said, we started these businesses as our mobile classrooms. So we do make sure that while we are doing that, there's also a way that we train other people who also are able to sell it as a business in a box. Now, Asad, I know that I promised that I won't take too much time. Can I just run through a pitch very, very quickly to tie all these things together and to try and make it as practical for
Coach, I
somebody?
think that's a good idea. That's a brilliant idea. These are the list. So what I want everyone to do is listen to what Coach does, hear him, because what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be speaking about the elements of that final pitch. So we're going to break down that pitch that he's going to be giving. So brilliant idea, Coach. Go for it.
All right, so just very quickly, I'm sure you can still see my screen. This is just a practical example of how a model canvas for a waterless car wash, how I would put it together. So I'd introduce myself. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mangaliso Telezi. I'm a co-director in Car Dry Cleaners. Car Dry Cleaners is a mobile waterless car wash. We service courier companies, security companies, churches, office blocks, government and parastatal organizations, special events. Our preferred customer segments are clients with large fleets who cannot drive their cars out, and that we get to come to them. Some of our customers include the Gauteng Traffic Department, people like Henley Business School, people like the tracking company Clear Data, and other logistical companies like Brentec. Now I move on to my value proposition. Again, this is just a summary, you guys. As a mobile waterless car wash, our USP is that we come to you and we save water. We feel we contribute positively to the 2020 agenda for sustainable development, which was adopted by the General Assembly. Look at the questions on the side as well. Now, when it comes to my channels, using social media, mainly Facebook, we've been able to not only market our services, but we've also been able to drive the message of water saving, positioning our car wash as a unique player in the space because we save water. In 2018, we attempted a Guinness World Record for washing 2,000 cars in 8 hours without using water. All our marketing was done via social media. We also have a strong mailing list as we capture details of every vehicle that we clean. This allows us to always keep in contact with people that we've serviced. Whenever we have special offers and promotions, we are able to contact them again. We offer sales commission as well as part of our channels. So if a guy brings us 10 cars and more, we'll give you 10 rand of every car that we've washed. So some guys will bring cars in order for us to wash their car for free. You can also find us on trade shows. We also get a fair amount of media coverage. I've included a little picture there. That's Mrs. Buthelezi, my co-director, doing a morning live interview about the car wash. Our customers are not only ones of customers, as with many other car wash operators. We prefer contract customers, and so we build strong, long-lasting relationships with our customers. People call their cars their babies. We make sure that we take the utmost care of your baby. Our relationships with our customers include invoicing and reporting to them so that they know for every step of the way how we are handling their cars. We are reliable, we are professional, and we use eco-friendly, tested, approved cleaning products. That's what I would say typically when I'm talking about relationships. Key activities, mobility and saving water is important to us. Making sure that we maintain strong record keeping and administration allows us to grow and keep growing, because the waterless car wash business, as with many other businesses, is based on trust. Let's face it, businesses are based on trust. The client trusts us with their assets, therefore we must always be accountable. And we train other car wash operators as well. Those are our key activities. Our biggest resource, of course, is the cleaning products. We make sure that we buy cleaning products that are eco-friendly, and we make sure that there's a standardizer behind it and they are certified. Owner drivers are also our key resources, because I mean, even now I'm here doing this presentation, but my owner washers are out there in the field. They're making sure that the job gets done. Okay. Our key partners, currently we've washed something like 80 owner washers have been trained in KZN alone. We've also trained some people in 4 different provinces, so the car wash is operational in 4 different provinces. But 8 are currently active and working on my own contracts. My suppliers, I won't even give you that because we are recording this thing. So I won't even tell you who my supplier is. But yes, then you'll be able to mention to your investor, our suppliers are so and so. Car wash and fleet managers also can be stated as your key partners. Business chambers and other associate bodies for compliance. Also, I like to include things like outsurance when I talk to investors, so that they understand I have public liability cover in case something goes wrong with somebody's car. I do have cover, so that becomes a key partner to me. Now, so also on your end, find a way of communicating a key partner that strengthens your case and strengthens your pitch. Okay. For cost structure, you can just simply state, well, we spend X amount of money on overheads, which includes X amount of money as our main cost. And we spend X amount of money on our cost of sales, which includes X amount of money as our main cost. Our baseline price is 50 Rand for a hatchback, which we usually split as 10 Rand for labor for the owner washer. 10 Rand goes to cost of sales because we must restock the products. 10 Rand goes towards overheads, and 20 Rand is retained as our company profit. Now, when it comes to revenue streams, I like to communicate how I reach. So for instance, I have income assumptions, especially for those of you who are still at idea phase. You will have an assumption of this is how much I believe I will make per month. You must be able to back that when you're talking to your investor. So I drew up a little something here that says income assumptions. One guy can wash one car in 30 minutes for me, which means it's 2 cars in an hour. They'll be working for 8 hours. So I have 16 cars that can be washed a day by one person. 16 cars by 5 days, it would give me 80 cars. Those 80 cars by 4 weeks to make it monthly, that's 320 cars. Those 320 cars, charging my 50 rands, I'm able to make 16,000 per employee. Now I have 8 of these guys and they are owner washers. I have 8 owner washers. So that's why, Mr. Investor, I envisage that I will make 180,000 per month. Try to find a way of communicating this that fits your business. Obviously, every business is unique and is different, but find a way that you can articulate this. Obviously, you want to mention as well to your investor that some of your income stream, it's not just from washing cars, but there's also 20% that comes in from us training other car wash operators. We also sometimes distribute some of these products to other guys that we've trained who've now started their own thing, and we make about 5% there. So you want to be able to articulate all these things and summarize them in a way that doesn't chow up your time, but you are articulating a way in which you are able to. Asad, is that you? There's a red marker that I see there. Anyway, you want to close by also stating your ask. So as you have noted, we plan to generate 128,000 according to our income assumptions. This means washing 320 cars per owner washer, which means 2,560 cars will be washed every month. We currently are washing 1,250 cars. With your assistance, we could Now you are articulating your ask. If you are pitching to a customer, with your assistance, we could actually wash more cars. We could build up to 1,800 cars. If you are asking for money, with your assistance, I could buy more cleaning material. With your assistance, I could do more. I could employ more owner washers. What you want to do is to make sure that your ask is linked to the objectives of your investor. So you want to talk to the objectives of the investor. If the investor is a government organization, for instance, I know that they want employment. So with your assistance, I'll be able to train more owner washers. Something of that sort, guys. I wanted to just run through that just to give it as an example. So you want to thank them. Now I'll welcome some questions.
Thanks,
Asad,
Coach.
still there?
Thanks, Coach. Thanks. Good. That's very well done. I'm going to put another poll out there just to see how everyone's doing. We got two good questions we'll address at the end. For now, it's going to find out, how do you feel the speed at which we're going at? Do you feel we're going too slow or too fast, or do you think we can continue with this pace? Okay, perfect. Cool. So it shows that most of the people said we're on. I mean, almost 100% said we're on a good footing. So well done. Thanks, guys. You guys did a good job. I think it shows good about how the facilitation is being done. And then the last one is, I'm going to ask. Look, I'm going to be speaking next, but I'd like to gauge from the audience what should we focus on next. We can't go through everything on the business model canvas, but this will help us in providing future type of content in the portal, put future stuff on for you guys who's watching, and then you can benefit from that. So yeah, it'll be nice to know what the business owners would like to see. Can I leave it up another 30 seconds? Coach, it always comes down to the finances, eh? But it's a good mix. Okay, I'm going to end the result. I'm going to share the poll. So we're going to go to the final pitch then. This is what most people request. For the finance part, there's a lot of content out there on the portal regarding the finances. We've also put on the templates of how to do a forecast, income statement, the difference between income statement and balance sheet. So it's all on all the templates are there on the portal. The portal will open up once again if you complete the form, the registration form that's in the chat box. And then the value proposition is something that me and Coach would like to do in the future with Mr. Joseph. So just keep a lookout on our YouTube live channels. We're not sure when we'll do it, but we will work out something on the value proposition. Okay. Now, to start off, I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to just start off before I go to the final pitch, just to give an overview of where the business model canvas fits into your business. Now, what prompted you to join this webinar was probably you're going to learn how to do a pitch deck and how you're going to be able to communicate your business. That's the outcome, that's the goal. But the tool that we use to obtain that goal is using the business model canvas. Now, using the business model canvas, that's the tool you're going to be using. So that's a one-pager canvas, like a painting, you're painting a picture of your business. But that tool can be used in different scenarios in your business. We're discussing now the pitch deck. The pitch deck that Mr. Joseph did in the beginning, that's the end goal by using your business model canvas. But there's other uses also. You can build a formal business plan that you'd like to submit to the bank for funding or an equity partner. You can also take your business model canvas and build your business profile using your business model canvas. So communicating with your clients, sending a proposal, because you understand the value, you understand who your client is, you understand who your partners are, you've got it all defined. So you'll be able to build a profile with that. You'll be able to use this profile and be able to communicate on your social media platforms with it. And the business model canvas is a live document. So internally, you can adapt it according to what feedback you get from your clients, what relationships you build, what channels and resources you get as you grow your business. So it's also a strategy document that you keep internally. So you don't share those internal strategies with everyone else. And then we got a question also in the audience regarding an elevator pitch. Now your elevator pitch, as Mr. Joseph said, is if you're on 30th floor and you're going down, you've got 30 to 45 seconds to speak to someone. You're not going to be able to take out your notepad and your iPad and provide a pitch deck and a whole panel discussion. You've got a few seconds to impress this person. Or you're sitting at a braai and someone's interested in maybe your product. Then you can give that informal 30, 45 second pitch about your business. Now, once you've got your business model defined, you'll be able to do all these things. Now, the elements of an elevator pitch we went through in the previous webinar, so I'm not going to go through that again, but the material will be put on the portal. It's about a 2-pager, and it gives you the elements of what you can put into your elevator pitch. Now, to start off with, next, let's go to the final elements of your final pitch. So I'm just going to take it down and break it down. I'm going to go through this in the next, say, 15 minutes maximum, and then we'll allow questions after that, live questions. Please put your questions in the chat box. Coach and Mr. Joseph is answering them privately. So if it's a private question, you don't want everyone else to know the answer, or maybe it's something personal, you're welcome to ask the question. If it's like very private, they will be able to assist you. Okay, so the final pitch, when you arrive on the final pitch and you've got your pitch deck and you've got your business model canvas, the approach is important. How are you going to approach this? So you have to decide how are you going to tell this pitch and how you're going to showcase your business. Now, what works well and because I've seen many pitches, I've also helped many people on their pitches, especially on the financial part, taking the qualitative factors and the words and putting it in numbers and presenting that part. And what I found and what people have seen what works well is giving a story to your panelist. And that story can come from your background story. It can come from a story of a customer you helped. So you take them on a journey from the starting and how you identified this problem, the beliefs you have, why you believe this product will work or your service is different to the rest, and why people are buying into it. Now, when it comes to the story, it has to be something that you feel, it has to be something you embody, and it has to come from a place from your heart that is genuine. Because if it's something you're just trying to wing or something you're trying to copy and paste from something else you saw on YouTube, the panelists out there are gonna see that, and they're gonna ask you questions after that, and you're gonna get caught out. So be true and be genuine. That's the approach. Next, focus on your value proposition. And the value proposition is the problem that you've identified and the approach of how you're solving it. Now, speak and maintain that rapport and the golden thread throughout the whole pitch if you can. It is a bit difficult, but focus on that, because what business owners try to do is they try to marry themselves with the idea they have and with the product they're selling. And they always stick on the how. So how I'm cleaning the car, or what products I'm using in my car, because they know that well. But the world out there doesn't care always about your product. The world doesn't always care about just you, yourself, and your idea, because everyone else has got their own ideas and their own ways of doing things. So focus on the problem and keeping it outside, keeping it to the people you're trying to assist. So that's just one thing I have to point out. Stick to the problem and stick to how you're gonna solve that problem. And that comes down to the next one, which is motivating why people will be using your solution. And if your solution is complex, some people say, yeah, my idea is it's so unique and it's very complex, I can't explain it. It's going to be hard to sell your product if you can't explain your solution. So your solution must be in simple language. So if you're an accountant like myself or a lawyer, you don't want to be speaking jargon that only people in your circle can understand. You must be able to speak to the common person out there that's going to be buying your product. So it has to be simple to understand in a simple format. We wash cars, and you can say we wash cars is environmentally friendly. Simple to understand. We help save the environment using waterless car wash. Everyone understands that. But if you're going to go into the dynamics and the technical parts of your solution, you're going to lose people. Next, go to the first part, be specific of who your target market is and avoid using statistics. So long, difficult statistics, avoid that. If you have difficult statistics and items that you've identified, don't give the data in an Excel format. Rather build a few graphs and a pie chart and show this is how the market size is. This is where we can fit in the market. And this is how we're going to target this market based on our capacity. That is what people want to see. The investors and the panelists want to see that. They don't want to hear about how many people have cars and how many people need their cars washed. It's not going to make sense, especially if you only speak numbers. And we've got another question also in the chat, like what is the flow of your pitch? Because you spoke about the customer first and the value and all that. We'll go into that in later when we come to the questions. Okay. Then you've got your business model. Now the business model also must be kept simple when you're explaining it. Don't hide in complexity, please. If you're going to hide in complexity, you're going to get caught out because it shows that you don't understand your business model. If you can't explain your business model in simple terms, it means you are struggling to understand your own business model. It means you don't understand the market you're serving. It means you don't understand your customer. Because if you understand your customer, you understand the product you're selling, and you understand how you're making and adding value and bringing that value to the customer, then it'll be very easy for you to explain that to an investor or the panel. So just keep that in mind. Your marketing plan. State how you're attracting those customers. It's pointless saying, I have this car wash that's waterless, and there's restaurants, there's business owners, there's fleets of vehicle fleets out there, that's car rentals, there's Uber drivers, all of them need their car washed. But how are you going to attract them to come to you? Because you're not the only person that's washing cars. And also, they don't have to wash their car by anyone. They can wash it themselves. So you have to speak about your marketing plan on how you are going to attract those clients. And remember, you most probably, especially everyone in this crowd and the audience watching, 70%, a majority of you are still new businesses. So if you're a new business, you must remember, there's no customer that's going to come looking for you because they don't know you exist. You're still new in the market, so no one's going to know you exist. You're going to have to go out there. So you have to state in your pitch deck, how are you going to attract those customers? Then speak about the milestones. You saw what Coach did, which is very brilliant when he did that. He name dropped. He spoke about clients he's serving. That's building a form of reputation to show that you have got market traction already, and these are the people who are already interested in your product or service. And if those people are already interested in your product and service, it means that you already have something that's valuable. So if it's good enough for them, it's probably good enough for me. So keep track of that and keep track of the milestones, like how many people that are using your product and how much revenue you've got. Because without revenue, you don't actually have a business or haven't actually built any traction out there in the market. So keep note of that. Then point number 8 comes to what makes you different. And when you're speaking about your competitors, this is where we speak about your competitors, you have to show the panel that you are aware that there's other competitors out there. If you come out like some people and they say, you know what, we make the best, let's say we make the best locks out there, or the best doors, or the best gates. And you say, no, there's no other competitors in that market. It means you don't know your market. Even if you think of a new idea, you've built this new lock. Think of the old days with the slam lock. You can't say that you're the only one because that technology someone else can perhaps use, or someone else is using it, or something is similar. Maybe there's a keyless lock. So keep in mind of the competitors out there that can take market share from you. So sometimes it doesn't have to be a direct market. Sometimes it can be even the client you're serving. Sometimes we forget about that. The client can be your own competitor because he can wash his car himself. He doesn't have to go to a car wash. So keep those facts in mind and use facts. Avoid emotion or saying that you are the best because of this or that. Use facts and show a diagram of why you are better. Then the financial aspect. Now the financial aspect is important because the qualitative and the ideas you have and all the words you use has to be put into monetary value. This is how you tell a story in business. You use the income statement, balance sheet, and key indicators. Now, if you go into the portal, it will give you all the templates, but you have to understand those templates. And when you have your pitch, you got 5 to 7 minutes to present this. Financials alone, if you go in depth in a financial report, can take long. So the suggestion is on your final pitch, be brief with your financials. Understand your financials and stick to about 5 points. I speak about the 5 points in the previous webinar. We went more in depth in it. But as a breakdown, just keep what's your revenue figure? What's your break even? Meaning how much clients you have to serve for you to just meet your fixed costs in your overheads. And then speak about the salary component. How much staff you need to, and with a little bit of percentages. And then speak about the resources and what's the cost of your resources and what resources you can get in the future if you're asking for money. So be brief with that. Don't bore them with Excel sheets and heavy data. Rather just use small, specific, summarized key indicators and graphs. Then Mr. Joseph spoke about this, about the jockey and the horse. Show who your team is and showcase the skills in your team. The panelist and the investor will look at the jockey first, you as a business owner. Do you have the skill? Do you have the acumen to take this business forward? Yes, you can have the business idea, you can be in the right market, but if they find that you're not maybe arrogant or you're uncoachable, you're not going to take advice, you're good at what you're doing in one part, but maybe your sales is not good or your marketing's not good and you need help there, and you find that this person is totally uncoachable, he doesn't take any new ideas, they're going to see that. And where they're going to find this out is in the questions and answers. If they're going to start asking questions and you don't understand something, rather say you don't understand that part. That is why you're here for help. It shows that you're humble and you're human. If you're starting out, you don't always have the resources to have a full team of experts fully employed. So what some business owners do, which is very clever, they find others in the market who's got these special skills and they ask them, do you want to become an advisor for my business? And you'll be surprised of how many people out there want to help small business. So appeal to people who's maybe masters in that field or who can help. Ask them they can just become an advisor on your team and provide some mentoring or some coaching or just provide some overall guidance. That will show that if they've got belief in you and they see that there's something that you can do, maybe the panelists will also see that. The next, as Coach spoke, is the call to action. After you present this whole pitch, what is it that you want? And you have to be very specific regarding this, and you shouldn't be shy because you're there for something and the other person is there who's watching is also there for something. So ask yourself, what do you want? Do you want access to market? Are you struggling to get into the market? Are you looking for funding? How much funding are you looking for? Are you looking for an equity partner? Someone to share the burden with you and share also the rewards? Are you looking for a loan? So ask, make the ask, and then appeal to the panel and say, this is, if you get this ask and I get this, this is what you're going to get in return, because it's a relationship you're building. And that falls onto number 12. So number 11 and 12 can be seen as this as interrelated, because when you ask for something, someone's going to give you something. And that's when you're going to grow that relationship. And when you start that relationship, think of the person who you're asking it from. That's a relationship you're building from start while you're interacting, and then there'll obviously be afterwards a exit. So you have to appeal to what the panelists need. So if you can research who you are presenting to, you can find out what is it that they actually want at the end. Do they want to become an equity partner? Someone who can stay with you forever? Do they just want to come into your business, assist you, and then sell it off? So find out what their needs are and how you appeal to their needs. I know we've got most of the people in this room is still in the idea phase and in the 1 to 2 year business, but always keep this in mind when you're growing your business. What's your end goal? After 5 to 10 years, what do you see? Where do you see your business going? And go down to its founding. With time when you found your business, the purpose of why you started your business. So that comes down to the last one, where the 13th point is be honest and realistic, and stay true to those goals when you started your business. And that's what's going to take you further. Yes, there can be other stuff out there that's shiny, that can distract you. But if you hold true to your founding principles of why you started the business, the core part, what motivated you to start the business, that will keep you in the correct, how can I say, the correct lane, they say. So yeah, I hope that was useful. I hope you've learned something. I'm not sure if Coach, if there was any questions that you saw, anything on the chat while I was speaking that can be addressed. But we've got 15 minutes. I think we've got a good 15 minutes now to address anything in the chat. I know there is 2 people that I've privately messaged that raised their hand that'd like to speak. Yeah, perfect. I'm not sure what.
Before we go any further, I just need to make a couple of comments. Can you guys hear me, Azad?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Right. Firstly, just for the sake of time, I've got a few people that actually contacted me on a chat privately. Can I? Okay, I'll just put it on myself quickly. The question, just give me back access to share screening.
Mr. Joseph, you should be able to share screen because you
Can
are the
I?
code.
Yes,
Yes,
I
yes.
can't. I'm trying to. Here we go. Okay, I've got it. I've got
Okay,
it.
perfect, perfect.
Okay. You see, the one question we had was people, or the main question asked by people were, we need to understand the elements of the business model canvas. Now, this has been a question asked before by one of the previous, in one of the previous webinars. So I'm just going to cover that very quickly again. And then I'm going to look at something that I've got two people that's asked this, Mina, Utlala, and Lorenzo. Mina's question is, if I've only got 30 minutes to pitch, 30 seconds to pitch, what do I need to talk about? What's most urgent? And the question or the comments from Lorenzo, he says he has to make a video for schools on, and he's only got a 1 minute video, a 60-second. So I'm going to just explain the basic overview of the various elements as the majority seem to want. And secondly, I'm just quickly going to touch on what they need if they've got minimum time, like 30 or 60 seconds. Okay, firstly, people, when the idea of the business model canvas is that there's nine elements to it. We have on the right-hand side in blue, we've got the external elements. In other words, the customer, the channels, that's not part of your business. It's an external to your business. Then your internal aspects of your business, your activities, resources, partners, that's on the left-hand side in yellow. We've color-coded it to make it easy to follow. And the customer side, trying to reach your customers. And on the left side, what you have in your business, your key activities, resources, the two of them meet. If you can use your internal, using your activities, your key resources and key partners, you can best provide the best value proposition. You can create the most value. You can capture the most value for your targeted customers. That is why the two of them meet across your value proposition. Now, all of these 7, 3, 3, and 1, they are all underpinned by the financial aspects of your business model canvas. And the financial aspects has two parts: the money that goes out, which is your cost structure, and the money you're going to get in, that's your revenue streams. So that in essence are the nine elements: your customer side, your internal side, and they meet across your value proposition to your client, and then what the biggest cost will be, and what your revenue income will be. Now, your customer segment, as Coach said, that is for whom are you creating value? You don't want to service the entire world or the entire country. You've got a couple of targeted customers you're trying to reach, and you need to know who they are. You need to have what we call a persona of the customer. You need to know what they look like. Are they old people that's on pension? Are they young people? Are they the youth? Are they male? Are they female? Are they both? You need to know precisely who you are targeting to make sure you get the best value out of that. And you accurately identify your target market. Then you have the channels to reach them and your customer relationships. Now, customer relationships are, you cannot have necessarily a one-on-one relationship with all your customers. So you might have to reach them through the internet, through online or WhatsApp. you see now, if you look at the bottom, the cost of this, you see the cost structure refers to all the other 7 elements above. But looking at cost structure in a customer relationship sense, you're going to say, you know, I can't really give personal assistance to every client. I'm going to have to probably have more of a mass type relationship with them as opposed to an individual. You'll find banks, for the high-end customers, they might have one relationship manager or banker dealing with only 50. Then further down in affluency, where they're not such high-end, you might have one dealing with 200 people for every 200. And then you have in the retail, the bottom end, there's like 5 people dealing with the whole bank's retail. So understand that on the customer segment, on the customer side. On the other side, you're really only talking about what your key activities are. What is it that you do? Wash cars. What your key resources are. You've got a vehicle with a generator and whatever else. And your key partners, who do you need to partner with in order that you can actually give the best service and realize, create the most value for your client value proposition. The bottom is just your cost. You need to know what your biggest costs are and then how your revenue will be derived. So you need to identify that. Now after I've explained that, I just quickly want to touch on how do you in 30 seconds, Mina, how do you in 30 seconds tell people about this? You only got 30 seconds. Well, you start with, who are you doing this for? You're doing this for the customer. It's all about the customer because you're in the business of making money. So that is customer and money and revenue. But what must you do to the customer to get the revenue? You must give them you must capture good value for them. So you need to give them a good value proposition. So in essence, if you've got 30 seconds, you'll talk about your customer segment, your targeted customer market, your value proposition to this customer market, and how you will gain your value, you'll derive your revenue stream. So those will be the 3 things you're going to focus on. To answer Lorenzo's question, Lorenzo, you've got 60 seconds. You have to make a video. Once again, start with your customer section, your customer segments. You go over your value proposition, what value you're capturing for them, what value they're going to derive. And then before you can get to your revenue streams, you need to talk about the cost structures. So what cost will you incur and how you're going to make your profit, and then you'll talk about your revenue streams. Now, just going from there very quickly on to another question. Somebody, the question here from, I'm trying to read who asked this question. Okay, one of the questions, I can't see the name in one of the questions were, what is innovative products, innovative service? How do I know what's innovative? Innovative is a very relative statement. You know, very few things are really truly innovative. Most of the things are adjustments and enhancements to existing things. You've got something and you've got an alternative solution. It's not an innovation. It's more of an enhancement, a change to something. There's very few innovations per se. So you can call it an innovation loosely, but it's not in its true sense an innovation. The other question was IP. What is IP? True IP is when you create a trademark. You register it. That is true IP. That is your intellectual property. And if somebody wants to use it, they need to pay you a fee. And if they use it without your authority, what's going to happen would be
Hello?
Azad, are you able to hear me?
Yes, yes.
Were you able to hear me all along?
Yes, it was 5 seconds you went off.
Oh no, because I'm actually lost my screen thing here. I'm just wondering if you people can hear me.
No, it's
So
fine. You can speak.
did you guys lose me on? Did you guys hear the bits on?
Everything,
guys
everything,
hear-
everything.
Okay.
Just 5 seconds is fine.
All right. Okay. So in essence, that's the answer to the question on innovation. IP people, you can call it IP. If Coach Azad and myself came up with something, we say, let's not tell everybody else about it. We'll call it, it's our IP. So we're not going to put it out on the web. We're not going to tell other people so they can't use our, our intellectual property. But true IP, it's registered and it's trademarked. Okay, Azad, over to you. I think I've covered most of the things there.
Okay, perfect. Look, this webinar was supposed to finish at 12 o'clock. And we promised 2 people questions. I'm not sure we're going to have enough time for that, Mr. Joseph. What do
No,
you think?
those were questions, Azad. What I
Okay.
spoke about, I was answering questions
Okay.
from the chat. So
Okay.
that were questions either directed at me in private or it was on the chat. That's why I spoke about that just for the sake of time, that we don't have to ask them to ask it again. But if it's any other questions now, we can take that.
Okay. Before I go there, I just want to quickly just do one poll, last poll. Okay. The last poll I want to do is, what's the best time? Very quickly, what's the best time do you think, if we do go live on YouTube, what do you think is the best time for us to do it? I mean, I would like to hear from the audience, then we know when to time it. Would you like us to come on weekends, weekdays in the evening, or weekdays in the afternoon, or if you're busy in the week, weekends? We'd really like to do, but I think the value proposition is something that everyone would benefit from. Okay, I'll leave it for another 10 seconds. Okay, cool. So weekends are out, eh? Everyone likes to, everyone to work in the week. Okay, perfect. We got that. Perfect. Coach, I'm gonna have maybe last words, Mr. Joseph, and then we can ask Khaladi to close the meeting.
Azad, just before you do that, just find out if there are any other questions we can, and also tell them about sending their business model canvas to Ulwazi Group. Just invite them, implore them to send, otherwise they're not getting full benefit out of these webinars if they're not using us as a resource at the moment.
Perfect. So Mr. Joseph and I and Coach are here. We built the portal. I showed the portal previously. I think I can go again and show the portal again. I've shown in the previous webinars. So the once you complete the video, once you complete the form, then the portal you'll be getting is, the portal will pop up, and what you'll get is an ability for you to upload your business model canvas. If the portal's not working or if you're struggling, you're welcome to email us. We will put the email address on the chat. Mr. Joseph will put the email address in the chat. But this is where the portal will look like. You'll get this access. You'll be able to complete this form. And then once you complete the form, it will then allow you to upload your business model canvas. You can view the previous recordings here of all the other sessions. You've got the templates. So template of a pitch deck. I've also put in the chat, or might well put in the chat. I already did put in the chat all the other templates you can get. There's many templates out there, but the templates don't work unless you do the work of the business model canvas and understand your business. Okay. Then you've got all the videos of every single segment of the business model canvas in detail, split up into each of the elements. And at the end, there's also compliance issues for your business, like registering for tax, getting a tax lien certificate, understanding the CIPC. So all that is there for you, and this is for you to use. Coach and I will, and Mr. Joseph will put on the value proposition at a time, because I see it is coming up a lot. So we don't have time for that, but we want to do that. So regarding questions, raise your hand if you got a question. I think that's best. If you can raise your hand if you have a question, or if you still have any questions, because we believe we've addressed all of it. But yeah, let's take a question too. Okay.
There's a hand.
Okay, there's a hand. I'm gonna acknowledge the hand. Sorry, Mr. Joseph. Did you someone's, okay, there's, okay, Mr. Joseph just put on the internet, the website address. So that's the email address, sorry. Katlego, you've been unmuted. You're welcome to ask a question.
Hi everyone. My name is Katlego Metsana from MKS Corporate Solutions. I just emerged into this corporate business where I see you guys can be good mentors regarding us emerging into such space. So I wanted to know if you guys, do you offer services prior to pitching, or you just offer it remotely like you gave it to CEDA only?
Okay, Katlego, what we do in essence, we are business management consultants. We're also business coaches, business mentors, trainers, facilitators. So we do the entire spectrum of business. Azad specializes in, he is our financial accounting arm, and Coach Skiller's partners us because he is a specialized coach as well. So we've got other players as well, but we are the team for this. But we've got a couple other players as well.
Thank you.
Fawzi, Rashid, Nizar, they come on as required. So we've got a team that we use on an ad hoc basis. So whatever your requirements are, we generally do just about everything in business. We've got someone covering every aspect of business. Does that make sense, Katlego?
Yes, it makes sense. Thank you very much.
So CEDA has provided the platform. So send your business model canvas, then it's free for you. Send the business model canvas now to us, then we can go through it. It's a good opportunity, and we got the time. Yes. One last question, maybe. Any other hand? Or is it, I think most of it has been addressed. I think Mr. Joseph, you addressed most of the questions.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Maybe I can hand it over then to Khaladi from CEDA. Yes, Khaladi, are you able to unmute yourself? Okay, well, I'll wait for Khaladi. Maybe Coach, if you could give a few comments at the end. Okay, we got one question. Let's go to the one question while I wait for Khaladi. Go ahead, you can ask a question.
Hi, everyone. I'm Muraro Nematayeni. I'm in the financial advisory space. So I just left corporate 2 months back, and I'm setting up my own practice. So I just want to say thank you very much for this session. It was very insightful. And one, it's able to see how all the sectors fit in order to make a successful business. So you should be looking out for my business canvas model. I'll be sending it through. It's EmpowerX Advisory Services. Thank you very much, all the way from Limpopo.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for the words of encouragement.
Khaladi, are you going to give us just a final thing from CEDA? Because this is the end of our road with you, or your road with us, and we're going to miss that dearly, because we really enjoyed actually having you or being with you, and we appreciate the opportunity that you people gave us. Thank you. Khaladi? I wonder if Khaladi's there.
Khaladi's probably got a call or something. Probably something just came up.
Because they had a Manco meeting. They had a Manco meeting. It's fine. Let's wrap it, guys. People, fellow entrepreneurs, as we mentioned to you earlier, you need to take the initiative. You are the future. I'm already over 60, so you guys are the future of our country. You need to stimulate our economy. You need to be brave. You need to take ownership, stand up and be counted. And I promise you, there's nothing you cannot do that you apply your mind to. Go out. If you need funding, if you can't get it by a bank, Go to CEDA, ask CEDA to help you. Speak to an advisor. They can get someone to do a business plan for you. They can approach the banks. Be persistent. Don't let them just palm you off and say, no, we cannot help you. If they say no, go knock on another door. But what entrepreneurs do, we don't give up. We don't give up. We don't see problems. We see solutions. And you need to go out there, believe in yourself. Because if you don't believe in yourself, you cannot expect other people to believe in you and your products. So you must believe in yourself. Look at the business model canvas. Use it as a guide. If you don't understand, ask people. Don't assume you know, ask. Don't try and be the smartest. Rather be the most humble. Get information. Okay, Coach, do you want to say something before we call it a wrap?
Yeah, just in addition to what you've just said, Mr. Joseph, guys, put things into application. Start applying yourself, because we speak sometimes in general because we're talking to a crowd. It will only make perfect sense once the things apply to your own individual business. So until you apply it, you don't own the knowledge. It's just something that you heard from us. Don't take our word for it. Put it into practice and you will see it working for you. But thank you, everybody that joined us. Thank you to CEDA. CEDA has been very, helpful in making sure that entrepreneurs have access to information. And guys, please don't forget to fill in the attendance register so that you can have access to even more resources. Our journey doesn't end here. I believe that as entrepreneurs, our journeys will always collide. Mr. Joseph, Asad, gentlemen, I really enjoy working with you. Thank you so much. It's been really, really, really great. I like the passion that Uluwazi has. I like the passion. I've seen your videos, Asad, on YouTube. Guys, find him on YouTube. Watch some of his videos. Again, more valuable information. Let's just start circulating information amongst each other and let's do business together. Blessings.
Perfect, guys. We're going to end the meeting. And last words. I'm just going to repeat what Mr. Joseph said and Coach said. The information is there. The opportunity is there. The only thing for you as an entrepreneur is to take it. You are owning your own time, your own energy. It's your time now to use the resources and make it yours. And that's only you can do that. So you've got the form to complete, you've got the portal, and there will be one or two YouTube videos we'll be doing in the future. Please use all this and use this opportunity. And you're welcome to share with everyone else in your network. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Joseph. Thank you, Coach. I did private message Haladi, but I think she's probably in the meeting. So let me end the live stream on YouTube.